The way you fertilize a tree determines how it will grow. While my tree has been fertilized to think, what if I was not black? What if the melanin flowing through my skin was an actual win? What if every day when I walked out of the house, my skin wasn't placed on society's spectrum of beauty? What if I didn't have the cultural duty to make it in life because I was told that I needed to be a doctor, a lawyer, or an engineer to survive? Forbid my curls, my skin, my creativity, my IQ could be the only thing that could make me thrive. What if I didn't have this constant feeling of guilt that all the opportunities that I've been given are undeserving of a woman like me? Because you see, all my life, I have been told that my ancestors were controlled, where the minorities, were the victims, were privileged, cursed with the hand that would always stay under but never above. I am privileged. Privileged to be given my citizenship, privileged to be given the chance of education, privileged to be given the opportunity to be in this nation. But when the word privilege is encrusted with stolen jewels and submerged in the color white, with the synonym of assimilation, the tamariki of my whānau are forced to take off their coat of skin at the front door of acculturation. They're forced to forget the sound of the pounding of the fufu and the taste of the agusi. They are forced to forget where they came from. Eshe ibiteti bere, eshe ibite bade, adupe o Jesu, ibite muralo. I am privileged. But privilege, when are my actions and my successes finally allowed to be recognized as mine? When does my bloodline no longer define in which light that I am given to shine? God, is it when I finish uni and get all my degrees? Or is it when I start working? Or is it if I join the long list of minorities that only get recognition when they are dead? Because if so, I don't want to be privileged. Because although I'm not being shot to death with bullets, I'm being shot with words, encapsulated in jokes, actions, and limitations. But God, what if this was all in my brain? What if in the beautiful land of Aotearoa, I didn't actually feel any cultural inflicted pain? It was just a placebo effect that I chose to maintain. It was just a placebo effect that I chose to maintain because I can't explain the feelings of not being able to entertain equality. Why? Because I can't retrain myself to feel equal. The curse of internalized racism. The way you fertilize a tree determines how it will grow. What is that fertilizer? Words. Words have the ability to account for everything. It can destroy it or accomplish it, James 5:10. To eradicate racism is to eradicate the toxic words that we are pumping into the minds of the next generation. Why? Because racism is a cycle that starts in your mind, in my mind, in our self-perceptions, and is projected onto others. The curse of internalized racism. With no examples of us succeeding, but many of our downfalls, with the ABCs, they paint a counterfeit picture of a society where we can't possibly be worthy of being equal when you're the hand that always stays under. By force-feeding us the fertilizer that makes us think that our cultures are bad, that our cultures are inferior. Words that make you feel inadequate in a country that prides itself on equity and equality. So why is it that when my people read in between the lines of equity, they see impossible? Words that have created a harikeke with the long pieces of flax leaves representing the media, our communities, and our families. And the center shoots being us, the minorities. If I'm going to be honest, why is it that the flax leaves that are meant to be protecting us from the forces of racism have instead become the enforcers of it? Tell me, how are we meant to eradicate racism from the roots when the whole plant is polluted? It's simple. The flax leaves need to begin to weave together with one strong goal of changing the words they say and therefore the mentalities that we have, that the toxic cycle of racism that starts in the mind and the self-perceptions can come to an end. Because right now you have the flax leaves of the media putting out headlines that read, Nigerian Kiwi man goes to jail in Christchurch for selling heroin, but also Kiwi UFC fighter Ezra Adesanya. Both men come from the beautiful country of Nigeria. So why are crimes having their cultures added to the headlines and successes are being denied? Words through the media fail to show us. They show us the small people in our communities that have messed up and used them as the show bunnies for entire cultures. Forgetting to mention the kings, the queens, the winners that are birthed out of the belly of minorities. And when this is woven in with the flax leaves of school, you are shocked when reports show that minority youth have reported to feel lower well-beings compared to other students. While when we turn on our phones and we see our cultures bleeding in red, land stolen from the blue, and then we're expected to sit in a classroom and learn about Christopher Columbus for the US, because for some reason it took until recent years for the brave souls of Whina Cooper and others in New Zealand history to be added to the curriculum, you do us a vast injustice by failing to teach us about the beauties of our cultures, but only the pain, adding to the toxic cycle that starts in the mind, in the self-perceptions. And when this becomes woven in with families, you hear, Esther, your skin is a barrier. Your mind is full of stories of your uncles and aunties' racist workplace experiences. Your culture, Oluwayemisi, is hidden in between Esther and Sovincet. God, it alters you. You begin to pitch yourself against the white man. You begin to fight for a right that you should already own. Why? Because the way you fertilize a tree determines how it will grow. To eradicate racism is to change the image that we are painting in the minds of minority youth. Change the paint, change the letters, change the paintbrush. Paint a new picture with not just the hands of the receiver, but the hands of the equal. Through words, encourage us, acknowledge us about the beauties of our cultures and not just the pain. Change the words you say, change the mentalities we have to a positive self-perception. Allow us to see the beauties of our cultures and not just the pain. Because this is how we breed a new generation of trees that see the beauties in themselves, in their cultures, that stop projecting hate, self-hate, and racism. The way you fertilize a tree determines how it will grow. Change the fertilizer and change the words to end racism in Aotearoa. Thank you.